Welcome.
So welcome everybody to the Mountaineer Legends pregame show.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's
sir.
really excited to be here today and have my man talking smack with Jozwiak today. Happy to have Brian here with us today, and we're going to be talking about the Mountaineer Legends pregame podcast that we're getting started. It's kind of a reboot of some of the things that you've done in the past.
That's right.
You know, this is all brand new. Just kind of walk us through how this actually came about.
Third season, but like you said, the reboot. You know, we needed a shot in the arm. The Mountaineer Legends pregame.
Yeah.
We've been doing this, and we started it off. Dale Wolfley, Scott Sears, and myself got together a couple years ago and said, "Hey, we need to take the show on the road, so to speak. We need to take the legends, and we need to go to these watch parties up and down the East Coast and go to the alumni centers, because everyone, they're watching an away game, right?
Yeah.
If you're not Morgantown, you're watching the away game.
Oh, exactly.
So, and these guys are getting their alumni groups together at these watch parties at these bars and local taverns and such, and we roll in there with myself, maybe Owen Schmidt, Major Harris, Daryl Talley, all these guys, and we just kind of show up, crash.
He's like, "Oh my God, the boys are in town!"
It is, man.
Yeah.
It is. It's the Mountaineer welcome.
Yeah, it is.
And we're everywhere, Randy. We're everywhere.
Well,
and thank you for being in this thing and helping us relaunch this Mountaineer Legends pregame.
Hey, it's honestly an honor, growing up watching Mountaineer sports. And like you said, whenever you guys come in the room, now, you're sitting down right now currently, but you almost hit your head every time you walk in the door, right? It's like I was telling my business partner yesterday, I said, could you imagine trying to push him around on a line? Like, just with one paw, just do a little swipe, we go flying.
And back in the day, you didn't see guys really my size. Now I went over to practice the other day to watch them, and it's like they're all my size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the game has evolved, but you got to have a big frame, I guess.
Yeah, and then again, that helped take you off to the NFL and many other things. I mean, we got the official mug here, and we are actually sponsored by the Little General. They were gracious enough to do the sponsorship for this year, so we definitely thank them for everything that they're doing here.
Right there.
We got the cup with the man himself too, Don Nealon.
We gave these away. Little General sponsored these at our 34th annual golf tournament for Children's Hospital this past July.
Oh, wow.
And Little General steps up. Greg Darby's got a heart the size of West Virginia itself.
Oh, yeah.
And he gives back in all the communities where those stores are located, and we can't thank Little General enough for sponsoring this. And Trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
We got to say your guys company, Trilogy, and helping us, again, rejuvenate this podcast and put something out there that we can all be proud of. Us Mountaineers, man, right there. That WV. Right there,
that
WV, and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the 1.8 million in the state.
Right.
But Randy, hey, I live in South Florida, brother, and we're everywhere.
Oh, we are.
We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
Right? Or what's the other one? Hey, let's go.
Mountaineers.
And buddy, it happens right now.
It doesn't matter if you're in an airport, a Mexican restaurant. Like, it honestly doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
And they see the flag, and that's what you hear. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to be actually talking about some of those things. We're going to be out and about. So let's dive into that a little bit, like how the show's going to go, where we're going to be at, and some of those things. So how do you actually see this show going?
And you and I have talked about it, first of all, obviously providing a great opportunity to mix and mingle with some great Mountaineer legends. Right. Daryl Talley, Mike Fox, myself, Major Harris are going to be on hand, along with a bunch of other guys up at the pit game. And that's going to be our first on-site. We're going to be rocking around the backyard brawl, right? Yeah. Right there, right across the stadium. Yeah. We're going to be at Station Square Sheraton. Station Square Sheraton.
Hey, reserve it today.
I'm telling you, it's going to jam out. 10 o'clock in the morning, show up about 9:30, have your Bloody Mary, because Friday night's going to be. Friday night's going to be.
Bacon in there, your celery.
That's right,
Yeah.
So
Yes,
come on
sir.
down, and we're going to be out there. There's going to be a bunch of Mountaineers on hand, and at 10 o'clock we're going to go with the show and kind of break down the pit game a little bit, tell some stories.
Yeah, tell some good old
and of course
stories.
Daryl Talley's going to be on hand. So we're going to talk about Daryl and obviously his NFL experience. Hey, between him and Mike Fox, there's 6 Super Bowls those guys played in. So there's a lot to talk about that day.
Well, and we're on a mission here with this podcast too, is getting Daryl Talley in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir.
We want to make that a mission, making sure that you guys are sharing this, getting that message out there, because we here at Trilogy, we started our podcast to raise our voice, because we said you can have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, how can they get to it? So that's what we're trying to do here.
That's
and
right.
We're going to start that initiative now with the Mountaineer Legends to shine that spotlight on some of the greats that have come through Mountaineer Field.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
That's the ambition.
Yes.
We're a bunch of old guys.
Yeah.
But,
Like, comment, and share. We'll make it happen.
Oh, yeah. Right? Hey, make it happen. That's the way it rolls, right? I'm really learning this.
Yeah, this is how social
help
media,
us out.
man. It's how
Help us
social media
out.
works.
I mean, what the heck?
We're about to go viral. We don't even know it yet.
Hey, I don't know what that really means. I never got vaccinated, so I guess I could go viral.
I guess so, right?
You never know.
Back in the day, they just
man.
used alcohol to kill everything. I think so. But that's
But
all
then
right.
October 12th,
Yeah.
we're going to be down in Myrtle Beach. Obviously, we all know, hey, if you're a Mountaineer fan and you ain't been to Myrtle Beach, you ain't really a Mountaineer fan, right?
They actually call it the Hillbilly Havana.
It's the Hillbilly Havana, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We're
That's
the
what-
Sundowner.
Yeah, they have
it's a
stores
hoot.
down there.
Come on now. We'll get 300 people packed in
Right.
this place.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, that pit game up there is going to be a smash. I'm hoping that the whole lobby is full of Mountaineer fans.
Oh, yeah.
And we're doing our thing, man. It's
Yeah.
going to be a good time. So, and then November's outing is kind of TBA.
Okay.
We're kind of between. We're going to be in Florida for that one. We're going to be probably in Jacksonville, but we'll let that one go when we get to it. But
So, kind of looking to, obviously, we're doing the kickoff today, and again, a couple weeks, that's a live broadcast. So, we're going to be doing a live broadcast pretty much once a month. Is that what kind of how you're seeing this?
Yeah, and then you and I are going to do some installments along the way. And
we're
we'll
going to
get
do
together.
some shorts for you guys.
Oh,
right?
yeah, we ain't going to leave you hanging. There's too much to talk about in this sporting world that we're living in right now. So
that's right.
we'll
be doing giveaways, right?
We're going to
get
have all
some,
kinds of stuff.
Helmets with some signatures, and that's only for the people that are liking and subscribing, or at least following us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. If you see us out and about, show us that you're following us, and you might get entered for your chance to win something that has been signed. So you can say, hey, Jozwiak signed this. Look, check out this helmet, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
We'll get all the legends that are involved in this thing to sign the helmet.
Yeah, we'll get Don Nealon over here. We'll get him chatted up.
Hey, you know what? We have access.
Yes.
We have access.
Yeah.
We can get to some guys. Absolutely.
Well, and that's what really makes us different.
thing.
You as a fan, you see things up in the stand happening and that kind of stuff, and you see people get hurt, and you're like, "What's going on there?" Everybody's an armchair quarterback, right? They're like, "Oh, why'd you miss that pass?" But I was telling you the other day, I was my son's flag football coach, and here I am. I just have a kid like this tall chasing me. He's only a little over 3 foot tall, and he's just pulling at my flag. I don't have somebody your size that's running a 4.40 coming to kill me, and then you're like, "Oh, Garrett, why'd you overthrow that? Did you have a guy tracking you down?" Right? So being able to share some of those stories and give us some real insight about what really happened in some of these games, telling some of the old stories, I think that's what's going to make this show different.
The good news is the game itself hasn't really changed.
Right. Yeah.
The evolution and all of the ancillary stuff around it has evolved and changed and stepped into the 21st century, obviously.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's football.
Yeah.
It's
It's like that old Rocky movie where the Russian is playing against Rocky, and he has the breathing tube with all these electrodes. That's
right.
kind of what the sports complex are like now.
Oh my
and
gosh.
you're a lot more old school. You're carrying a log up Law Hill there,
That's right.
doing bear claws and stuff, and they're carrying a guy up those steps.
I'm loving this
right?
analogy.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
how you
perfect.
guys used to do it, and then how it's done today, and just seeing the difference between then and now. But like you said, and then how they also are the same. from an X's and O's standpoint.
Heck
right?
yeah. And we're going to bring you that.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to talk from inside the huddle. We'll talk from inside the locker room. We'll have guys on here that have had those experiences to bring us all together. You know, and really get a nuts and bolts understanding, but not getting in the weeds. I'm not a stat guy. I hope y'all know this right now. I am not a stat guy. I believe in stats.
For him.
You know, but seriously, at the end of the day, you know, you got to study stats for trends and weaknesses, and it exposes certain things, and it helps you to develop your playbook and your play call. I get the analytics of it. Yeah. But again, it's all about the Jims and the Joes, and it's all about when do you call those plays and those things, and that comes from, you know, inside and really understanding what these guys are thinking about and how they're going to call based on why. You know what I mean? But I don't ever want to get in the weeds, man.
Well, and sometimes, like you said, it's just the guy that's lined up across from you. I mean, you look at what the Philadelphia Eagles did with the tush push. Like, fourth down, you know it was coming. It's us mano a mano versus each other. Having a guy of your stature pushing it against another guy and moving that. Because, you know, we were talking the other day about football being a game of inches, but really it's a game of millimeters. And the other day, Joe Mazzulla was talking about winning a championship, and he said, you know what the difference between winning and losing is? He said about this much, right? That you could either be the greatest thing in the world and they're lifting you on their shoulders, or they're trying to run you out of town. And that's exactly, that's the truth.
And it's that right there.
That right there.
And so how do you gain that advantage over your opponent?
Right.
Because I got to be then that much better than they are on that given Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, whenever we play. So that's the challenge. And that's where we've evolved to, and that's the nature of the game and the level we're at. Yeah. And, you know, I'm excited about this Mountaineer season.
Well, you see those Thursday football games where it's like sponsored by the AWS, and it actually shows you a lot of the geometry, the angles and everything. Like, they barely missed that blocking a kick, right? And the team goes on to win. They show how close it really was. Or to thread the needle, to get like Patrick Mahomes coming out there side arming, and he threaded it literally through a needle, and the guy catches it in the end zone because all the repetitions and consistency.
That's right. He's practiced it.
He's practiced
and he's practiced it under pressure. Yeah. So when that moment came, he's practiced that. I guarantee you.
Well, and actually, speaking of practice, you mentioned going over there the other day, and you got to kind of see all the guys running through the drills and everything. So tell me a little bit more about that and what you saw with the culture, the attitude that was going on, and give us some insight to what we can expect this Saturday.
And I love it because right now, look at the smile on your face. Okay, that's what we're all seeing, this big smile.
Oh yeah.
And again, I've been around the state this whole week. I've been around. Last week I came in and I was down in St. Albans for their third annual Mountaineer Main Street. You know, celebrating Mountaineer football down in Huntington, Marshall territory.
Right.
And there was 5,000 maniacs out there, Mountaineer fans, and all grinning like this. Everybody's. The anticipation of this year is electrifying. You know, the weekend coming up against Penn State. You know, this is we're in the spotlight, man.
Oh yeah.
On a lot of levels, and a lot of people are watching.
And still got disrespected, not in the top 25. Put that chip on our shoulder.
Who cares? Who cares? We picked last in the Big 12 last year, and look what we did. So proof's in performance, not prediction.
Right.
Period. I don't predict. I predict it's going to rain. 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
All right. So I can't be wrong. Now the attitude. This is where it gets really exciting. Okay. Right. You know, Ren Baker shows up down there in St. Albans on the same night that you guys are going to the Missoula dinner and the Neil Brown dinner over here, the Country Roads Trust big dinner, kick things off for the year. You know, Ren Baker flies down here and then flies back. All right, that says something about, hey, you're understanding that you can't blow that off. You got to be part of these because we're everywhere. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, not too long ago, Neil Brown threw out a quote about, hey, here I am. I'm in West Virginia, and I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm finally understanding. Finally, kind of got through how important it matters to so many of us that wear this WV proudly all over not only the state, but all over the country. And I run into them everywhere, like I said earlier. And, you know, when you get that, then those players start to understand, yeah, you know, it's about your degree. It's about making money. It's about playing football, but it's about doing it for a lot of great people.
Right.
A lot of diehard Mountaineers. This is all we got. We ain't got no pro team. We don't have we're the only Power 5 team. It means a lot to us.
Right. Yeah,
you got guys still listening on old transistor radios in the pit down there working, listening to a Mountaineer game, or sitting in a huddle over in some offshore overseas service unit, and they're listening to Mountaineer football, holding up a flag. Come on now, this means a lot to all of us. And I think they understand that. I know, Brad Hunt and I, he's going to join us here in a little while.
Okay.
But Brad and I went up there to the practice, and he brought us all in, introduced us. These guys won the game against Penn State out here on this field 40 years ago this year. And these guys are back
40
to see
years
you guys.
Ago.
40
this
years.
year.
Wow.
Think about that.
It makes me feel old.
Yeah.
But you know what? At the same time, it feels like a blink. And I'm out there with these young guys, and I'm seeing the fire, and they're seeing the fire in my eyes and what it meant and what it still means. And we're part of a brotherhood. We're the Mountaineer Warrior Brotherhood.
Right.
And there's a standard.
Once a Mountaineer, always
a Mountaineer.
Yes.
But while you're a Mountaineer, while you're out there, you have a responsibility and an obligation to play football at its finest, at its highest level, and its most violent level, because that's what we are. We're fighters and scrappers.
Well, it's funny because Joe Mazzulla actually told a story about getting to the Final Four. About he referenced the Sago Mine disaster that happened.
Indeed.
And how that inspired them to want to do right for the people in the state of West Virginia, and how emotional that was for them, and the tie back. And whenever you do that and you tie that to the people of the state, and they get behind you, it's a force like no other, right? It's like parting the Red Seas whenever you make that happen.
Go all the way back to the Don Nealon era, which is my era. When I showed up in '81, I was in that second class. 80 was his first year. I come in 1981. The WV shows up, and we hit. We beat Florida in the Peach Bowl in '81. Then we come out, we beat Oklahoma at Oklahoma, and all of a sudden we're on the national stage. And this WV is a brand now. We didn't even call it brand back then, but it was a logo that all of a sudden is national news, and it started the whole snowball effect. And here we are 40 years later, looking at being a contender this year for the Big 12 championship, maybe making the playoffs. What the heck? That's a good place to be.
Well, and it makes you proud to be from West Virginia, and as a West Virginian, to be able to see even being recognized at the national level, because a lot of times we were often made fun of, and shoeless and teethless and all this other stuff, and to see that at a national level and growing the brand and the positivity, that is definitely a badge of honor, and that's why I think we all fly the flag. In fact, my buddy moved here from Arizona in 2009, and he thought it was like a car dealership or something, because he's like, every car down there had this flying WV on the back of the car. He thought it was honestly like a car dealership, and they just put them on all the cars.
How cool is that?
Yeah, right. But that's just the love that we have, and the tie back to Mountaineer sports, for sure.
And you go, and that's why, for WVU to be so successful in their athletic programs, because they are profiled, and they're out there, and they're something we can get behind them. And more than anything, it's about competition, and winning matters. And when you're out there for all eyes to see, and you're winning championships and you're winning games, hey man, that gets people excited.
Yes.
We all want to be part of a winner.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just the way it is. We want to tag it and hold on to it and take us take us with you.
Yeah.
Right? Take us with you.
Well, and again, to be from such a small state, 1.8 million people, and to put that in comparison, where Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, they have 1.3 million just in the county.
That's right.
We have 1.8 million in the state, right? And everybody.
Yeah, but that's just in the state. What about everybody else?
Oh,
we're everybody else, too.
That is true.
I live in Florida, brother,
Yeah.
and I see them.
Yeah, and that's just it. People have scattered out throughout the country, throughout the world. I mean, people go to Ireland, they hear country roads, right? They're in some there, and like everybody loves it. They sing it. They might never even been to West Virginia.
It's a fact.
But it's everywhere.
It's
they
everywhere.
See that flying WV, they're your new best friend.
Brother, I'm telling you, it is incredible actually, because when you go out and about, there are, just on the East Coast, when I say that, east of the Mississippi, there's got to be 80 plus Mountaineer alumni chapters.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I mean, there's like 8 or 9 of them just in the state of Florida.
Right.
So we're everywhere. I mean, we're everywhere. You name a state.
Yeah.
There's 4 guys getting together out in Wisconsin or out in Minnesota somewhere. They're Mountaineers that live out there, and they gather.
Yeah, like you said, watching.
They gather. They're watching the game together. They're cheering together, and they're winning together, and they're crying when we lose.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
and by God, Neil, this is year number 6, brother.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's build on last year.
Yeah.
And
he has all
let's
his
do
guys
this.
in there now.
It's exciting.
I know whenever he kind of took over the reins, the coffers were depleted, to say the least.
Oh.
Right? We had a
that,
lot
do
of
we?
backfill. Well, we had the Big 12.
Thanks, Dana.
Now,
Cheers.
Thanks, buddy.
You're like a
Appreciate
TCU,
you.
man.
Yeah. We'll be coming for you.
Wow, yeah, no kidding. Get ready.
Yeah. But yeah, so now he has all his guys in there, right? And there is a lot of excitement about this year's team. And again, we talked about winning and losing and how it's by just that much, right? To where this could be a phenomenal season or a letdown season. And I don't see it being a letdown season.
When we were at that practice, okay, and you know, we talked a little bit real quickly about like how the game's changed. It really hadn't changed. Yeah, it has. It's changed from a science standpoint. It's changed from just a departmental standpoint. You know, back in the day, you know, you had a couple coaches, you had some trainers, you know, you had a couple of team physicians. You know, you got 2 guys running your advising stuff. Now they got departments of people. That take care of nutrition and monitor nutrition, which, by the way, their cafeteria there in that $55 million facility is phenomenal. Phenomenal, the food, oh my God.
They have drinks, like specialized drinks with all of their names. They have all their vitamins with all of their names. Everything they're supposed to do.
Well, the technology of it. I mean, they wear a ring.
Yeah, Aurora
ring.
Yeah.
And this little ring is a sensor. That monitors everything from heart rate to core temperature to how much sleep you got to body. I mean, it's like this little. It's incredible.
Thank God they didn't have that back in the day when you were there, right? Over in Sunnyside, over there just chugging them down. He's like, "Wow, your blood alcohol levels."
Like, damn, Joe's, how many hours of sleep you get?
Yeah,
man?
right.
Come on now. Oh no, but you know that and. You know, the nutrition and how they eat and how they train, which is it's a real credit to Mike Joseph, who's probably the best strength coach in the country, and he's ours, and he's in our trench. And the first thing that I looked and saw was we physically look like a Power 5 football team. We don't have body fat problems out here. We don't have a bunch of undersized, glorified D2, D1 AA football players no more. We got some serious looking dudes, man. We really do. We look the part. It's like when I was talking to Coach Brown, and he said to me, he said, you know, man, I'm anxious to see these guys play. And I'll say this to credit Coach Brown. You know, this is his 6th year, and I get it. You know, you got to learn how to coach. You really do got to learn how to coach at the Power 5 level, and he's done that over these years. He's self-evaluated, he's grown, he's put a lot of pieces in place The Country Roads Trust has come on. They've put things in place. Everything's working to our advantage. And last year, halfway through the season, man, we kick it in high gear. We finished on a high note. We put the naysayers to shame during that window of time. And here you are. And here you are, right? And now you got a football team that's legitimately poised to be pretty daggone good. You finally got some depth. You finally got some things in place. So you got a chance to be good. Now you got to shine as a coach. And I saw that in practice yesterday on the field. I watched him coach everybody. He wasn't just worrying about the offense. He was doing what he's supposed to do as a head coach. Steer the ship. Steer the ship. And if the next he chewed the quarterback coach. The quarterback coach standing there, and there's a misexchange, and the ball hit the ground, and boom, right deal's on top of him, going, "Hey, fix it, get it fixed, get it fixed." The little things, and the intensity I saw out of him, and his emotion. A couple years ago, I was at a practice. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I saw a thinker. I didn't see a thinker. I saw a motivator. I saw a guy that's doing what he's supposed to do as a head football coach. You got Chad Scott and Lindsay in there to run the program and do what they got to do. Right? Let it go. Let it go, and let those guys do their job.
We're going to pause right there for station identification.
We got to thank Little General.
We got to thank Little General.
We got to thank Little General. Thank you, Little General. Hey, Big Joe's here. When I'm in West Virginia doing my traveling and having some fun and visiting some folks, man, I stop at Little General. For all my needs, fuel, convenience, it's the quick stop that you need to take. And down here in St. Albans, look over here, man, they even got a Dunkin' Donut. So, hey, when you're out there, man, support them. They support their communities all around the state of West Virginia. Hey, thanks, Little General. Outstanding job.
And we're back. Thanks again for joining us. Now we're going to shift gears just a little bit and really focus in on the Penn State game. Really a little bit of X's and O's, kind of, again, what you saw the other day at the practices. I went to a couple myself. It's a really exciting, like you said, they're just keying in on the things that they're supposed to be doing now. They're
right now. I mean, the hay's almost in the barn, as they say. We've been working on this game since January. This is, knowing that a number 8 football team's going to come in here on Saturday. The prep
old
time.
Rivalry.
Old rivalry, absolutely. I mean, we're, part of that 84 team from 40 years ago that won this
17-14,
game.
baby.
And I think there's only like maybe 9 wins total in the whole stretch of this rivalry. And we're not going to be playing them now for the foreseen future. So, so this one's huge.
They got us last year. We gave them a run, but, again, this is a whole different ball game for them on our turf.
It is. Franklin's a heck of a football coach. He's got 3 new offensive coordinators, 3 new coordinators. Offense, defense, special teams are all new coordinators. So a lot of what they're going to do scheme-wise, you got to go back and look at what they did at their previous stops. So there's a lot of question. I know that those guys, the Mountaineers, have done a great job, evaluating the position, evaluating the talent, and getting that ready to go. But, as far as the general schemes, it's going to be quick adjustments. When we get into that game, find out what's going on. They're going to figure it out, and they're going to figure it out real quick. That's going to be really key. That's part of the evolution too. The technology comes into play now because you got communication this year.
First time ever this
year. First time ever. You got the quarterback and you got the linebacker now communicating with the sideline. So, and you only get about a 15-second window, but there's communication going on. So it's going to change the game a little bit because now you're getting information very quickly. So, and adjustments.
Speaking of that, I know Neil Brown put out a message the other day that that said, hey, this new technology's out there. Let's make it a little difficult on Saturday for them to be able to hear those.
That's right.
You know, let's get a little loud whenever they're on offense.
That's right.
You know, making sure he's not hearing that.
That's
and
good.
a little bit quieter whenever we're on offense.
Because it matters.
We want to make sure, yeah, it absolutely does.
It matters.
Not only does that energize the players, but with that, how many times have you seen a false start or something where the crowd is just so loud? I know Kansas City's
or you run out of time, or the communication stops, and now you've got to make verbal adjustments at the line of scrimmage, and somebody doesn't hear what they're supposed to do. You know, there's all kinds of factors. You telling me, man, the crowd is, it's so important, you know, so now it's up to us in this game coming up. You want to keep the crowd in the game, you got to keep the game tight.
Exactly.
Okay, if we're down 21-28 to 3, you know, the crowd's going to start getting a little upset about some things. You keep it tight, maybe go in at halftime up by 3. Buddy, let me tell you something. This place could be pretty wild. And of course, that fuel, as a player, you got to know what that does to us.
Right.
It matters. It allows us to get that little extra juice in the tank, you know what I'm saying? That feeling. And to know that,
feel that energy.
You're cheering for us. You want us to win, so we're going to go out there and do everything we can. Man, you know, so we need the fans. They're not just kidding about that.
Oh, no.
They're real about that. That's important.
I remember when we played LSU here that one year, and I mean, it was electric here. It was a gold rush, and I've not heard it that loud since probably '93 when we played Miami back in the day. But it literally would raise the hair on your arms. So I can only imagine what that energy down on the field was like.
As I'm hearing Neil Brown say, it matters.
Yeah.
Okay. All those little things that we were talking about earlier matter. The little things matter.
Right.
Okay. So that being said, you know, that's one of the things that I really watched at the practice the other day, and the attention to detail. You know, nobody's just going through the motion. There's a purpose.
Right.
Okay. There's a real purpose, and you're seeing that in the way these guys are practicing. You know, the offensive line. I spent obviously an O-line guy. I'm going to spend my time hanging out with the O-line. You know, so I'm down here with the Hoggies. And I'm watching these guys work together and how they communicate, and there's a swag. You know, winning does that.
Oh yeah,
Randy. Winning does that. You know, when you start winning some games and you figure out, hey, this does work, and I gotta really buy in like that, and we start winning. Winning's nice. Winning tastes good. Winning's got that feeling, right? I mean, so once you get a little bit of that, you start getting a little bit of swag. You know, Penn State's not going to sneak up on us, and we're not going to sneak up on them.
No.
The hype's out there. Everybody knows what's going on. However, what it does is we're hitting this field way differently now than we did a year ago against Penn State.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Absolutely.
This is a different football team. This is a team that's on a mission, and you know, and I'm hearing a lot of guys call upsets, and we have a real opportunity to win a football game, and if not win the game, daggone, show the world that we belong on the field with them.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, fight this thing down to the wire, and limit the mistakes. You know, as anything, the turnover board.
Yes,
got to win the turnover board. You got to win the conversions. You got to get that. You got to get that third down. You got to get that fourth down opportunity on offense, and on defense, you got to take that away from them.
Right.
You know, that's the one thing we didn't do a great job last year. You know, turning the ball over, we did a great job. We were number one in the league. We didn't turn the ball over hardly at all. We didn't have many negative plays last year. We were number one moving the ball on offense. So we were really doing some great things last year. Defensively, we got to tighten up a little bit. All right, we got to tighten up a little bit.
Over the tops and everything.
You know, we can't be giving up those big plays. We got to make them earn every play. We got to take away the ball. We got to take away those conversions. You know what I mean? And really fight.
Keep them there.
And keep them there. And then play the game of field position. Last year, I think we were in the top echelon, if not the number one in time of possession offensively. Hold on to the football. The best offense, keeps the other offense off the field. Right? That's the best defense, having great offense. And that's what we have an opportunity for this year.
They always say it's simple but not easy, right? Hey everyone, please stay with us as we have our special guests coming up next. We have Pat Randolph, Kevin White, and Freddie Boom Boom Smalls. Please stick around.
Of course, I got to mention real quick, Freddie, great linebacker from our era, the '84 football team, and of course, our quarterback Kevin White joining us, and down there in the bottom left of that screen, I see my man Pat Randolph. How you doing, Pat?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
We're doing wonderful. This is a good way to re-kick this off, 40 years ago with what you guys were able to accomplish and knowing what's going to happen here on Saturday. I couldn't think of a better way to bring the band back together here.
Oh, I'm telling you, we got some offense, we got some defense.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just I'm here in Morgantown right now, and I've been kind of bebopping around. I went and watched practice yesterday, and the juice was flowing, the memories were flowing, and that's why I wanted you guys to join up a little bit. And first, before we talk about what we're doing now, I want to go around the horn. Boom, I'll start with you. What are you feeling as we're going into this Penn State week as a Mountaineer warrior brother, man? What's going through you?
The same energy, the same synergy, the same chemistry, however you call it, man. I'm a Mountaineer. I just got good vibes about this one. I really believe that West Virginia, the Mountaineers, going to go in and definitely going to really, I don't call it an upset. I just think that this team is capable of winning. I'll call the win again. That's the way I'm going in. That's the way I'm going to cheer for it. And I really believe that it's going to be a big victory for this school this weekend. I really do. I really do. I just feel it in my heart.
I like it. Kevin, what are you thinking going into this game?
Tomorrow morning, about 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to get on an airplane. And I'm going to Gray Crawford, our old teammate's daughter's wedding on Friday. They scheduled on Friday so it wouldn't conflict with the game.
Nice.
And I'm going to get up about 6 in the morning on Saturday, and I'm going to drive to Morgantown. I got my field passes, and I'm fired up.
Yeah, baby.
I want to see you there. So that tells
awesome.
you right there what you're expecting,
Yeah.
right? That's beautiful. I can't wait to see you. I'm
Brings
looking
back
forward
a lot
to
of
it.
memories, man.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, what do you, just how you feeling going into this game?
Man, it's amazing. First of all, 40 years. I can't even believe it. Where is the time going? That's the amazing thing. 40 years. But I have the same feelings. I remember when we played that game and we were out at Lakeview and we had to wait around all day. That was the worst part of the day.
Yeah.
Waiting all day.
Yeah.
But
That anticipation, man.
the feeling I had then is the feeling I have now, watching this team go. And I got down to one practice earlier in season. And like you said, those guys had a lot of energy, a lot of juice. I'm excited to see this team play and do some things. I'm calling the win.
Yeah. Well, we've already seen one upset. Florida State already went down. We've already seen one top 10 team go down to Georgia Tech. Let's make this another one, right? Big noon on the Saturday. They're going to be there. The Pat McAfee's going to be there on Friday doing his show. The hype machine is rolling, and we're ready to get going. The energy that's going to be in this town over the next 24 to 48 hours is going to be electric, to say the least.
Hey,
like when you guys,
game.
yeah.
And guess what?
Oh,
And
couch burnings. What's going to happen?
That's what I want these guys. That's what I want to hear right now.
Yeah.
Because me, I've been flooded, but I got news for you, fellas. The '80s are a little hazy. I remember some things, but I remember things that I remember.
Yeah.
What just what do you guys remember from not just the week going into it, but what do you remember about that Penn State game that stands out? Go ahead, please.
I'll tell you, the thing that always jumps to mind to me is at the end of the game, then when Larry Hawley picked that pass off with about 35 seconds to go, and the offense took the field, and the crowd rushed onto the field, and it was bedlam. And I was kind of mad because I wanted that clock to run off. I
Right.
wanted that finality of it.
We wanted that victory formation, man.
I wanted to take that snap and take a knee and jump, and the crowd was having none of that. And all of a sudden, I got a pat on my backside, and I turned around to Joe Paterno, and he said, "Good game, Kevin. We're calling the game." And he ran on to Coach Nealon and shook his hand, and that was the end of it. But I'll always remember that. I wanted to have that final snap, but it didn't happen. But it was still an incredible experience. My parents were fans. My brother, my aunt and uncle. It was the first time they'd ever been to West Virginia to see a game. So.
Yeah, I have to expected Joe's to be riding on the goalpost with everybody with the Mohawk going up University Avenue or something up Sunnyside.
That was about 3 in the morning.
Oh, okay, yeah.
3 in the morning. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm with you. The energy, I can't. I've tried to explain to people what it was sometimes, and sometimes they don't get it. Pat, you got one of the top 10 most iconic runs in the history of West Virginia. 132 years we've been jamming the football, and you got one of the top 10 runs. Of course, old Scotty Barrows, my fellow, my guard, my brother right next to me, leads the way. Of course, you kind of pushed him in the ass through the hole, right? And he knocked that safety on his can, and you broke out there for that big run. And I look at me, I got goosebumps on top of goosebumps right now, man.
No doubt.
And what went through your freaking head, man, when you broke that plane?
Well, there's 2 things that come to mind about that game. Of course, that run, and I never talk about this run without talking about Scotty. I mean, he was the guy. Okay, I don't ever talk about this. I don't talk about it a lot, and people bring it up, but Scotty was the guy. I mean, he just watching him do that, and the athleticism that big man showed. It's just crazy. And then people say, "Oh, well, Penn State was out of position." Bullshit. They lost. We were faster. We were faster.
That's right. And you know what? I got to say this. I don't mean to cut you off, but as a running back, brother, you always, you too, Kevin, in the huddle, you guys always gave love to us up front. Always.
No,
all right. And that's what made us bleed for you and give everything we could for you, because we knew daggone right well, we trusted that you guys were going to do your jobs back here. And that was the exciting part. So thank you for that. But yeah.
I can remember the one thing I do remember, and then, I've coached for so long now that it makes a lot of sense to me. And when I look back on it, but I can remember in practice, and Kevin, you were there. So we go to inside run or do we go to team or whatever we did. You, Joe's, and Scotty and Billy, everybody, you guys were so calm. You said, "Yeah, we got this. Just don't worry. We got this." There was no way that whole entire week, there was no way we were going to lose that game. The whole week. Everybody's demeanor and everybody's approach was it was calm. It was collected. Everybody was focused the entire week. And then you go back to the next week after that, when we lose to Virginia, we didn't have that same focus. Of course, we lost a lot of starters, but we didn't have that same focus. But those are the 2 things that really stand out in my mind. Practice Tuesday and Wednesday was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Let me ask you this question. So, I've been going to Mountaineer games. My first game was in '87. I actually watched Major Harris play, and that day is whenever I decided I'm going to WVU. Right, I was 12 years old, and I just watched him leaping over people. I'm like, this is amazing, right? But how does it make you guys feel? Like anytime up on the scoreboard or anything, when they're looking back, they always show that 17-14 game, right? Us beating Penn State, that final, everybody rushing on the field. I mean, you guys literally made history. You are Mountaineer legends, and they still show that all the time. The sense of pride that you guys must have every time that comes up. Does that take you back, kind of like hearing a song, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember first time I heard that song? Does seeing that up on the scoreboard and things take you back to that moment?
For me, it does.
Instantaneously.
Absolutely.
Instantaneously.
And I haven't been back to too many games, because coaching, I haven't been back. I think I've only been back to like 4 games. This will be my 5th game, actually, that I've actually sat in the stands and watched. Okay, so, but I would get text messages and I get phone calls from people in the stands. Hey, they just showed your run on the board. They just showed it. Every week. I'd get it every week. Amazing.
Hey, bro. Hey, we scored that touchdown, and that's all a big deal and everything. But defense wins championships. You got to stop them. You got to outscore them, so you got to stop them. Holding that number 18 Penn State team that year to 14 points was a big part of you and that defensive front. Talk to me, man.
Well, I mean, we were already prepped from the Boston College game with the same type of flow where the offense scored and go and stop Doug Flutie with the last few minutes. So it was like deja vu again. Now Penn State has the ball. And I remember the huddle. I remember exactly the plays that were called. I remember what Coach Brown was trying to tell us is that definitely because it was a hurry up offense, and that kind of like really confuses a lot of things. So we was going to stick with certain 1-2 plays, not to confuse anybody who's needed heat. Just bring the heat, bring the heat, bring the heat. But I remember in the huddle, man, the poise.
Yeah.
Poise. I mean, even though we just been pressing, had everybody locked in, and he was calling plays from a distance. Nobody was breaking down. Nobody was really overthrowing. Everybody was calm and smooth. It was like a perfect timing, man, because it's like everybody was definitely, like Pat Randolph said, we were already prepped. We just did this, the Doug Flutie, the Heisman Trophy winner. We just smoked him.
We knew.
And hey, we got these guys to sack, and we called Sikkim, and he called the greatest play that we run, that the 8 in the box, that no matter what happens, he's got to get rid of that ball in 2 drop, 3 drop, because back then nobody was sending 8. So he didn't have enough time, and that's what happened. We sent Sikkim. We had 8 come off the box. Me and Scotty came off the end. He peeped it, and he let the ball go too fast, and that's what caused that interception. He let it go, and Larry stepped in. But the greatest thing that was not even the game. It was going down the sunny side, man, and seeing them people in the 5+.
Wait a minute. Before Sunnyside, we'll talk about Sunnyside. Before Sunnyside, you talk about the poise and the belief. Late in the game, if I'm not mistaken, that running back, what was his name? DJ Dozier?
DJ Dozier.
He breaks through the middle, and he goes down the field untouched.
They had Minogue, Cleveland Browns. They had Stephen Smith, who blocked for
That's right. That's right.
They had DJ. They were that stacked.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying. They should have broke our back. They by scoring that touchdown, our defensive huddle could have said, "Oh no." But it didn't happen like that. When you guys came off the sideline, what was Danny Brown yelling at you? What were those guys yelling at you? You remember?
Knew what happened. We told Brown, don't call this play that he was calling. That's how Steve Smith got the second touchdown off the same call. So we're telling Brown, Brad, we yell at him. That was it. Coach, don't run the play. Because we ran it, DJ broke it. All they did was let Brown. They let Brad come in and kick me out. He ran the play again, same thing. Steve goes with it, and we went to the sideline and we yelled at Brown, don't run it again. On the papers.
Did he run it again?
40-plus yard runs, too. Other than that, they didn't move the ball.
The play that Steve Smith scored on and DJ were the same play.
That's right.
It didn't work. It worked in Boston College. Penn State figured it out against us. They knew how to block it. So we told Brown, don't run it no more. Right in his face like that. Everybody.
But he didn't. He listened to his guys out there in the battle.
He didn't run it no more. He said he told the papers, no, I promise you guys I won't call it. And Preston, if he does call it, I'm not calling it.
Yeah. Well,
Preston said. He's out. He calls it.
Let's hope that,
But
they say history repeats itself. So let's hope this year's Coach Brown listens to his players that's out there and sees things that they're seeing on the field, and they're able to make things happen as well on Saturday.
Hey, oh,
You know?
I want those guys
Yeah.
to experience what we experienced when we finally got off the field. Kevin, like you were saying, man, 30 plus seconds left. Paterno comes out waving the flag. Nealon went up to him and patted him on the shoulder, got in his ear hole and said, "Hey, get off my field. Take your team with you." Right? But the locker room, when we got back into the locker room, when you were walking back to the locker room, running back, I remember running back because I didn't want to get involved in that pandemonium.
The chaos.
But when you were running back to that locker room, man, what was going through your head? What were you thinking?
When you're a little kid and you like sports, you want that moment in your life where you play in the big game and have the big dramatic finish and your team wins. And you dream about that and you dream about that. So few people get to experience that.
No doubt.
right.
This little desert rat and you guys and our teammates, that night we got to do it. And I'd argue we did it 2 weeks in a row with that win over Boston College. It was
Yep.
pretty darn good win too.
Yeah.
And to have 2 weeks like that, come on. I mean, it's the stuff dreams are made of. We were so fortunate. I know Brian and I were exchanging texts about just what a great era it was for us to play for West Virginia Mountaineers. It really was a special, special time.
That emotion, that feeling. I remember sitting there, and we all got back in there and we're like, man, we just made history.
Yeah.
We're going down. We're going down this thing. We're going to be part of the history of Mountaineer football. And what a special thing.
It has actually been history ever since. Yeah.
And if you recall, Senator Rockefeller, now that I think about it, he came in and he was in awe of us. I mean, he came. Yeah. I remember he came and greeted me, and he was like a kid. It was an amazing experience, not just for us, but for everybody who was there, including the United States Senator. So.
Yeah.
As I was saying, I have no clue of what we just done. Joe's, you're from West Virginia. I didn't have no clue of the impact of what that meant to the state until I talked to a cop down at Sunnyside. And I said, you're not working tonight? He said, what? The last time I was 3 years old. So I didn't know the impact. It's the only night I didn't even drink a beer because I saw the extravaganza, like what the people were doing. And I didn't even drink a beer. It was just, what is this? Because I'm a police guy, and I didn't understand what that meant until now, like just the history of it. Like, wow, this is what this meant to these people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it truly does mean the absolute world. We were talking about that earlier, about even Missoula brought it up about the Seguman disaster and around the time when they were trying to go to the Final Four and how they really put it all because Huggins, hit on that, right? And how much it means to these people about what they're doing. And that's 120% true. Like, it means the world. And to have that positivity throughout the nation, to have West Virginia finally associated with something that's positive, we proudly fly this flag all over. And we were talking about it. No matter where you go, if they see it, they say, "Let's go," and they wait to hear for it, right? So
hey, real quick, I love the passion and hear you guys talk about that Penn State game and that piece of it. But after those two incredibly big wins, historical wins, obviously, send Flutie home, never beaten West Virginia, and then come out and knock off Penn State. Hadn't done that in 100 years, and here we are, and we lose to Virginia, we lose to Rutgers, and then we lose to Temple. Do you guys remember? And I mean, we had a great locker room, always did. but that was a challenging run, that 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the meeting when Coach Nealon came in and announced that we got a bowl bid, but you guys need to decide what kind of team I'm taking down there. We ain't going down to Texas and playing TCU for giggles. We're going to go down there and we're going to show what kind of football team we are, because we're going to go down there, we're going to work hard, we're going to be healthy, and we're going to play.
Remember that well.
You,
I remember that meeting well.
you give me your immediate thought as I bring that memory back up to you, Pat.
So I remember about that Virginia team was a sneaky, really good team. They were really good.
Right?
Didn't realize how good they were. We kind of, we had to let down, whatever you want to look at, however you want to look at it. But, Rutgers and Temple, both those schools had teams. They were better than they had been in years past too.
They were feisty.
Yeah. So for us to go in there, we were like their freaking bowl game.
That's right. We took their best
Their
shot.
bowl game, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
We were their bowl game, and they played us hard, and we made some dumb mistakes in the Temple game, but we literally went from the Orange Bowl to the Blue Bonnet Bowl.
Yep,
In
we
2
were
weeks.
banged up. Hey,
Yep.
do you remember? Hold on,
Hey, Joe.
do you remember that meeting? At
About
that
that,
meeting.
Yeah.
And he dismissed.
Oh,
He kicked out the coaching staff, and it was. And he said, "Y'all captains, y'all make it. See, y'all figure it out." And do you remember who the first one stood up and said anything? He's on the screen right now. Boom. It was you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was you. It was that freaking street kid from Philly stood up and said, "What are we doing?" You remember that?
Yeah.
Give it to me.
We
I got
talked to him
goosebumps, man. Give it to me.
ago. We spoke to him about that, Joe. You remember he blamed himself because we were beat up, and he said, yeah, he figured it out that he knew we were beat up. Brad Hunt was beat up, Big Luke was beat up, Dave was beat up. Instead of those guys taking off that week, he practiced them, and they have it. They up front, Barry Ward was killing us. We couldn't get that push that we was getting against Penn State because we had a lot of our front three was injured. Y'all, they were not playing well.
Yep.
So and Keelan did admit to it. As Joe's and I was talking to him the past couple of weeks we've been down there with him, he said he learned from a lot of his mistakes. He talked to us about things that he learned from.
Yep.
Praise God.
Well, I know one thing. They weren't ready for the Mountaineers when we showed up to play TCU.
Yeah.
That first half, that game plan, Kevin White dropping back and hitting Blue Mullins down the sideline on that play action. Boom. They weren't ready for that. They thought it was just going to be the normal 3 yards in a cloud of dust, right? But we turned some. Who was our offensive coordinator?
Coach
Was it Tranquil?
Coach Krasula called that game. Russ Jakes was the quarterback.
Russ Jakes.
But Coach Krasula called that game.
Yes,
called
he
it.
did.
That's right. He did, didn't he?
Yep.
Oh, that's just, man. It's just, I appreciate you guys coming on with me, and you guys are Mountaineer legends.
Yes, you are.
And that 84 team, 40 years ago. Sometimes I feel like Back to the Future, Randy, man. It's like a blink, and here you are all of a sudden in a time warp, and here we are 40 years out, and we still get passionate about it. We still love it. We're still Mountaineers, right to the core. I can't wait to see you guys this weekend, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow night, Joes.
Hey,
Thanks for
Kevin,
joining us.
I want to say hello to Kevin White. I haven't seen Kevin since we left school. Kevin, hey, hello, how you doing?
I feel like
look at him. He looks like he's 20.
I see you all the time on Facebook. I follow you closely, and I enjoy every minute of it. You're
Just
one
want
of
to
my
say,
heroes.
say hello.
Hey, I love you guys, and it is true. To see your faces, these except you, Freaking Kevin, I swear to God, man, you look like you just stepped out of a GQ magazine. What the
You
hell?
gotta
Yeah,
retire.
what's up
You
with
look
that,
pretty. Me and Boom, man, we're just old, man. Are we all 60? Are you guys all 60 or 61?
No,
Yep,
I'm
62
almost
in a
there.
couple days.
Hey, I
Yeah,
like
Kev, you look like you should be on freaking Baywatch.
I'm
Hey,
trying to learn I'm trying to learn how to
Running.
surf. I've tried twice this summer and I failed miserably, but I'm going back again.
I love it. I love it. Hey, everybody travel safe. Everybody
Yeah.
travel safe. I love you. Hey, let's go Mountaineers.
Let's go
forward to
Mounties.
this.
Joe's, I'll see you
All right.
tomorrow, man.
Hey, great seeing you guys. Great seeing you, Boom.
See you
All
guys.
right,
See you this weekend.
Patrick, great seeing
Yeah,
you.
go. Peace.
See you.
Randy, everybody, blessing.
Little
See you
General
on
Store
Saturday.
knows West Virginia, but what some may not know is what LG is doing in your communities. And I'm here to tell you how Little General, with the strength of their 100-plus stores, is helping to enrich lives and empower families in West Virginia. Like the Norma May Huggins Cancer Research Endowment Fund, which is fighting to cure cancer every day right here in West Virginia. Locally owned and operated, LG has always been there and always will be. Little General Stores, committed to West Virginians. Boom!
Hey man, I don't know about you, but it was pretty great having those guys on the
What?
podcast here with us. I mean, that's amazing. And like you said, it gives you chills looking back at some of these stories and reliving the moments, those little moments of just bringing all that stuff back. And again, talking about that 17-14 that you always see up on the screen.
Yes,
And
sir.
those guys had integral parts of making that happen, along with yourself,
Oh.
obviously. I mean,
We all did.
yes.
We all
Yeah,
had a hand
yeah,
in it.
right.
And, again, Randy, what those guys are really talking about, the feeling going into that game all week long, there was a swag, there was a confidence level that
Yeah.
we're not going to lose this game. We are going
Right.
to find a way to win. And,
Yeah.
the night before that game, as we did all of our home games, we bust out after we did our walkthrough at Mountaineer Field. We bust out to Lakeview and we hung out there. And we always watched, we'd have team meetings and breakdown meetings, and then we'd all get together with blankets, pillows, and we watch a movie together.
Oh, really?
Not that
Oh.
night.
Oh.
Coach Nealon came in and got up at a podium and basically made us visualize the game. And we all laid there, and he basically painted the picture, and he called guys out.
Yeah.
Envision yourself making the big play.
Right.
Envision yourself, Freddie Boom Smalls, flying up barrel and sick 'em and getting the stack.
Right.
Forcing the turnover, picking off the interception, Larry Holly, the end of the game, that kind of stuff. He called these guys out. He called us all out.
Right.
And we believed so strongly.
Right.
And to see these guys today and be part of that, man, and reminisce on that is just something, man, it's special.
Oh, yeah.
It's special.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Special.
Yeah.
Speaking of special,
Yeah.
I got to talk about Little General Stores.
Oh, yes.
Little General Stores. Greg Darby, he owns Little General Stores, and they're all over the state of West Virginia.
Yes, they are.
And I can't say enough about these guys. First of all, joining forces with Mountaineer Legends pregame, Fat Boys Media, and of course you guys here at Trilogy, coming to you live from the Trilogy Studios.
I mean, in live in Cheat Lake.
Right here, baby. And
right.
but you can't do it without a team of people. It takes a
always
village
takes
to
a
put
team.
something out
Yes.
there, right?
Yes.
And I think we got the pieces in place.
Yeah.
And Little General coming on. First of all, Greg Darby's got a heart the size of this state. All right. He's so involved in all of his communities where all of his stores are, constantly giving back. In fact, there's a great program right now that is Little General that's started off, with Dale Wolfley and Jeff Hostetler, and of course, Greg Darby's love for the kids. And right now at any store, kickoff for the kids, you go in there, you buy football, they put it up on the wall, you become part of the team supporting WVU Medicine Children's.
Awesome.
Man, it's all
That's
about
really
the kids.
awesome. Yeah.
Thanks, Greg, for being part of that. Little
Thanks,
General,
Greg.
you guys do something really special
Right here,
for
baby.
the kids right there.
Yeah.
Little General, which is right here. By the way, I mean, Little General's a big part of our golf outing, our Legends golf event that we do every summer for Children's Hospital. He supplied these great tumblers this year. Got me and Coach Nealon on there. The iconic picture of us hugging each other in an embrace, and of course the Jozwiak Legends golf outing. But Little General, right there, little general. Thank you. I'm telling you, we couldn't do it without you. And I appreciate you, Greg. I appreciate LG. It's where I stop for my fuel and convenience needs when I'm here in West Virginia. And again, hey, stop in, support, buy one of them footballs for the kids. All about the kids.
Yes. Love it.
Always.
Well, I know I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about the future of this and everything that's been happening.
Me too.
And again, hearing those stories, we have other big names coming up here later. Again, we're going to be in Pittsburgh here in just a couple weeks. It'll be here before we know it. It's like the football season.
2-0.
Oh my God,
What
that
if
would
we
be
compare
amazing.
2-0? What if?
Yeah.
Huh? What if?
Oh, I'm going to be hearing a Sweet Caroline playing all over.
Carolina, oh, baby,
all
right?
over in the tailgate
Hey,
area.
so if you're in Pittsburgh,
Yes.
you got to come to the Sheraton Station Square right across the street from the stadium. We're going to be in the lobby. We got some big names coming in. Of course, Randy and I will be there.
I mean, that's the biggest you can get.
Of course. Well, maybe you, not me. But anyway, and then we get Daryl Tallies coming in, Big Mike Fox, defensive lineman, great lineman. Hell, between the two of those guys, they got 6 Super Bowls, right? I mean, come on now. And of course, the legend, the college football Hall of Famer, Major Harris, is going to join us.
The Mage.
You know, Freddie Smalls, we heard, is going to be in town. A lot of boys are going to be in town. We're all going to get together. We're going to gather in the lobby. And at 10 o'clock sharp, while you're having your Bloody Mary and your Danish, you're going to sit there and you're going to listen to a heck of a show with some really great Mountaineer legends join us. And again, I can't thank you enough for being a part of this, Randy.
Yeah, thank you for including me. I don't think we'll even need lighting. We'll just use all their Super Bowl rings.
Right?
Put all the lights in there. But no, honestly, thank you so much for including me as part of this. Like, growing up here in West Virginia, I'm just honored to be part of the Legends podcast and being able to get this out there.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Mountaineers.
That's right, baby. We'll see you guys here in about 3 weeks.